completed my engineering with computer science 22 years before, 1992, and that time even I came out of the college. Honestly speaking, I was not knowing how I am going to contribute to the industry. But then again I started committing myself, and within a couple of years I really become like a good student who want to learn what is happening. So thanks to the technology and thanks to our mother, the Google, I call her as mother. She is always there for us to help us. Whether you talk about the Google Scholar, which is, I don't know whether university provide that kind of Google Scholar. Believe me, if somebody have an access to the Google Scholar, you can be a wonderful person and you can be a wonderful potential resource. Lot of companies, they are doing the market research and marketing feasibility, and the Google Scholar will provide you all those kind of academic side, and also there are some case studies which you can access, and that will be a potential platform for you to project and project yourself as a potential resource. I spent 21 plus years of my life as a professional person across the Middle East with a more I reside in Saudi Arabia, and of course I used to travel a lot to Dubai and other regions. I have also addressed in Imperial College of London, where our honorable ex-Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi has studied over there. So I was not having the privilege even to take the admission in that college, but I happened to be lucky that I went and I have addressed. So why I'm saying, in order to be successful, in order to be good student, you have the chance. Don't think that if somebody is like a ranker or a distinct who is always scoring distinction, you cannot compete. You can compete, and you have a good example who is standing right in front of you. So of course the good students, they can be excellent. So there is always a chance for improvement. So 20 years before, when the TCP/IP protocol was evolved, where the connectivity between the two PCs was a big challenge, how to identify another PC which is residing in any other geographic location was something which was challenge for the people who has evolved the TCP/IP protocol. But now, how we can connect two networks in a way, the coherence, the protocols, the architecture, the application, the services can be delivered as a part of an umbrella which is the cloud offering. This is the thing which is the trend which is happening. Since 4 to 5 years before, the cloud, big data, it is a kind of buzzword. At that time, understanding was, understanding the benefit and understanding the scope, because there was no definition. But now, since last year, now we are in the phase of realization, how the cloud can help my business or my personal life to realize and to have a positive impact where I can, So this is so we are living in an year of realization, where the realization, it is something you need to understand. If there is somebody who has any questions, so let us, I don't want to keep talking. So if there is anything relevant to your studies, relevant to the industry, or some problem, or please raise your hand and you can pose that question. How many of you are working? Somebody is working as an online consultant or on a project, because I'm sure 100% of you are working on some or other activity at your home or something. I'm sure. Whether it doesn't have to be a commercial activity, maybe it could be your passion. It could be any kind of engagement. Maybe it's a blog. How many of you are working? How many of you have an idea which you think is wonderful, but you have some kind of problem, some kind of limitations? I think I myself cannot do it, or somebody think that you may require some kind of funds which need to be sponsored. Please raise your hand and show the braveness. Please go ahead. So first of all, clap for him. At least he has the guts to ask a question. I think you have a mic. I don't know whether it works. Okay, please. It's okay, no problem.
And actually, I had an idea to like transfer files using the telecommunication lines instead of Wi-Fi or anything. So that was kind of new idea, and like I was thinking like if more people get involved in it, then maybe it's possible.
Can you elaborate like that? Of course, all our data it is moving through the telecommunication providers,
Yeah,
which is happening today. But you need to little elaborate.
yeah, it's not like we only require internet or some kind of backbones to transfer data, right? So in my idea, it was like a simple fax machine. Like it uses the modem to transfer the file.
Okay.
It's more technical.
Okay. Good. So okay, thank you. So I think Dr. Virender, I think he was talking about the SMART goals. On that day, be specific, be measurable, be attainable, be realistic, and your idea should be achieved within the time frame, which is very much important. Of course, I think what I will advise you, go with the Dr. Virender, suggestion, which is very known into the corporate and in the industry. Try to elaborate. There is a SMART goals. And then there is a priority quadrant, which is what is urgent, what is important and not urgent, You try to, put those thoughts over there and see what is the feasibility. And if there is any help you need, my email address is there and you can channel it through the doctor. Anybody have any kind of question or related to the career, or how many of you think that what is being taught is not, is not very much relevant to the market or something? Don't be hesitant. I know he's the big boss here. So I think everybody have.
I will ask you one question.
Yes.
See, the present generation has got a kind of concept like, if you are good at one technology, see, there is a course of BTech, if you say 4 years course. MTech, it is a 2-year course. MSIT is a 2-year course, which is a master's program. Even after completing 4 years of course and again go for the 2 years of course. And there are several students and guys go learn a technology for 3 months. So they have a kind of notion like why we should spend our 4 and plus 6 years of time to learn some small technology and to build your career. So like some of you, right? Is that correct? So there are several students, other than computer science, I say, somebody is an electrical engineering student and completes electrical engineering and learns a course, some technology course, Java, Goa, for 3 months. And
by the way, Goa is a nicer fruit. If Java is like Goa, of course I will definitely go for it.
so the students always have such kind of misconception. So
Yes. Yes, believe me, that was my thought exactly. So you are not conflicting with any other student, the old student like me. So this is the concept. But believe me, once you actually jump into the practical life, you will see why I have been, why I spend all my time on the data structures or digital, computers, designing digital computers or pulses and those kind of subjects I still remember. And control systems, open loop, closed loops, and and 7-segment displays and floating point arithmetic and CDO. What was that? CDO. What was that? CDO something. PS something. What was that? Okay, that one. I used to think, what is R, NOR and all of this, come on, let's be practical, go for 3 months training and have the Goa, not in the Goa. But actually because your life span, it's not just about 4 years, most of them you say, like we are talking about 40 years, in generally speaking, of course, the God knows when somebody is going to die. But generally speaking, like, after once you finish your, whatever the professional engagement, you are working for 40 years minimum. So for average, so 40 years you are going to encounter different environments, different fields, different scenarios, different complexities. And this is where you will really realize, oh my God, this is what is going to help me. You see, when I'm going, I go to a different sector, By the way, are you aware that I also address to the doctors and to the medical fraternity? I have done, and there is a blog which you will see, which I am going to release on, and which was about to be released in the Arab Health magazine. Because different components and different aspects, when you learn, you will become like, how you are going to apply the thing which you have learned in the past to the practical life. I know even the shear force bending movement which we have learned in the first year of our engineering. I used to say, come on, I am not going to adopt that track. But actually it is going to help. So I can, even it's my house, or even, the data center, which is a hardcore thing for the IT. The data center, in order to build a successful data center, we are talking about not only the IT, there is civil engineering, there is a mechanical engineering, there is a thermodynamics, and so many, there are 6 domains. I don't remember exactly what are the domains, but I know. So for you to have a good and successful data center, where you have the firefighting systems in place, where you have the raised floors, you have water cooling, there are so many aspects. So whatever we are learning, even in the first year, I think that's going to be very much helpful. And the data, how many of you are all there IT guys? Okay, what is the focus? Like, who is the infrastructure? And who is on the data track? Who is on the programming as a developer? Do you have anything to say? Please help me to understand. Like, I want to data tracks, the infrastructure, and how the course is designed over here.
Different streams of students we have.
Yes.
One stream is MSIT.
Okay.
Their model is totally different. So they go by learning by doing concept.
Okay.
There is a mentoring system.
Okay.
So they are given various assignments and projects.
Okay.
And the mentor always coordinates with them like
Yes. Action-based learning kind of thing. So where you will be assigned a task, and the mentor will like a guidance. He will guide you, and so that they will do it.
How many of you are MSIT students? Most of you are.
Okay, good. What kind of projects you are working currently?
One is on web programming, where we have 3 scenarios from 3 different networks. And another
What are those 3 scenarios?
one is a discussion, online discussion forum.
Okay.
The other
Online exam
Okay.
discussion on speaker and event management.
What do you mean by speaker and event management?
Let them explain, because I am in other team.
Okay. So you talk about your what kind of engagements you are doing.
Mine is discussion forum, where it's a online site where someone can post a view.
So you are developing the discussion blog or forum.
Yes.
Okay. And what else? Any project which is you think which is very unique among you MSIT? Just I want to listen one name of the project. If somebody think that his project or his initiative or his engagement as an MSIT, you think that it's something which is worth mentioning. Come on, please believe. Everybody should raise hand, and you think you should believe on your project.
Which year are you? Most of you are first year or second year?
Okay, first year.
Very recently actually.
Okay, good. But please believe on what you are doing. And even if you are doing, honestly speaking, as a forum is nothing but it's an old concept. But there are a lot of innovative stuff you can add. Let's say accessibility over the mobile or tablets and those kind of things. Providing a collaborative platform where not only they can collaborate by using the textual and the chat and real time, but also voice. Even your WhatsApp and those, the Line and Viber components, some of the APIs you can use, and you can, add that kind of. So innovation can happen even at that particular level. My father, he used to, during my childhood, or I should say he is no more alive, he used to say why don't you stand and try to talk. So it's an opportunity for you to even talk, because you have so many people. You don't need to really go for those, Toastmaster and public speaking. Believe me, I never attended any course. I never attended any course for the public speaking. So it's an opportunity for you to, talk in front of the people. I have seen like when you are doing a gossip or, standing with the friends, oh my God, you are so effective, you are so potential, you can talk on every single aspect. But so if I bring four, guys right in front of you, talk, come on, I think I have nothing to say. Everybody knows what I want to say.
Yeah, I would ask you one question. Like, most of you have joined this course in MSIT. So, irrespective of your, graduation background. So, some of you are electrical, some of you are ECE, and some of you are in other branch of engineering, right? So, why have you joined for this MSIT program? Must be having some specific goal, right? So, also reason I joined this course. And somebody says something about that. This is my goal, and because of that, I joined here for the MSIT program.
Are you joined because everybody has joined and everybody has to study and you have to get big salary? No. So if that is the purpose, it's good, but don't drive yourself, based on the financial, remuneration. Try to build yourself a personality where you can maximize the value. You become a potential, person, and that's how you will become, you don't study just to pass the exam. If you are doing that, maybe you will pass, but in the long run, you will fail. Yes, please.
But louder.
You have to be louder. It is good that you raise hand, but be louder. Okay? Good.
Now, present technology like cloud and big data is going very fast. When we go out of this college and had a job, will this technology be useful over there, or we should learn now itself? In the job, they will be giving us the details of the cloud and big data, or we should learn now about the cloud and big data.
Okay. Okay. I think what I said, whatever you are learning, everything will be used. Don't think that, because this is the common thing. Whatever they are teaching you, even not only related to the IT, non-IT also stuff is going to be, useful in life. This is point number one. The point number two, that you have 24 hours, right? In a day you have 24 hours. How many hours you spend to study the curriculum to pass, this MTech? You are a student of MTech. How many hours other than the college you spend to study? 2 hours. So let us be honest, 2 hours as an average, because all over the year you are spending 2 hours. So how many hours you are spending over here? It's a time management, by the way, and it's 10 hours. 10 plus 2, 12 hours, right? And still you have 12 hours remaining. So out of which 8 hours, including your TV and all of that, 8 hours. And still you have like, how many? 4 hours. 4 hours remaining. If you spend 1 hour out of these 4 hours, if you spend 1 hour on those emerging trends and emerging technologies, and just try to see the research report, what they are talking about, who are the industrial leaders, what kind of technology, what kind of certifications are good. Believe me, once you have that kind of exposure, you will be able to. And during holidays, you can enroll yourself. You don't need to go to any institution like NIT or whatsoever. There is plenty of information is already there on the net, and if you have an access to the Google Scholar, believe me, you need nothing.
Sir, every knowledge like Java is a big platform and .NET is a big platform, and cloud, if we go in that, it will be different, and big data it will be different. What emerging thing we should learn now?
Yes, when you are talking about like Microsoft stuff, because when you go as a developer of Microsoft Windows Azure is there as a cloud platform, and they have their own APIs and all the tools and available. There is a link for Link, LYNC. Link is also a collaborative platform which can integrate with the Microsoft stuff, which will help you. And they have system centers, and there are a lot of array of products Microsoft is providing. You talk about like SAP, they have a in-memory analytics, which is providing you an in-memory computing, considering that the customer is an SAP customer or an Oracle customer, because most of the previously before my SAP came in, so they were having Oracle as a database. So that could be again it depends. The most important thing, whatever you adopt the track, you have to become an expert on that. You will become successful irrespective of the technology, irrespective of the vendor. This is what I could tell you right away. But again, when you are talking about like you want to become a service-oriented architect or solution architect, then you need to understand the different component, the hardware component, the business patterns, the business scope, the project management, what is the scope of the project, how you are going to deliver that project, what are the capabilities and the resources you have available, what are the tools and I need to procure, I need to this is a complete orchestration of the resources, orchestration of technologies, and trying to manage your time, managing scope, managing the risk. All of these components I think you need to adopt. So if you ask me a specific thing like no, I'm a guy with a Microsoft experience, what should be my track in order for me to be exposed as an expert on the cloud side, then I could be able to answer. I showed in my presentation there is a track, there is a cloud, although the topic was on the big data, but I showed one slide on the cloud also. So in that I think I showed like 7 steps. So first step is like assessment. Before you actually go to the cloud or you are developing a solution for the cloud, this was mostly for the CIO's perspective. You do an assessment of your hardware, you do an assessment of the softwares which you have in the data center. Assume that you are working for a company and you are a cloud consultant. So with this perspective and with this role, what I could tell you that do an assessment of the infrastructure which you have, how many routers, how many have a seat please, how many routers, how many hardware devices, how many peripherals, how many connectivities you have over there, what kind of licenses you are using, what kind of servers, how many SQL servers, how many Oracle servers, and how many instances you have, what are the roles, what are the service accounts which is being used in order to deliver that particular service. So delivering the service for the big organizations at different geographic locations. So like I'm a company with the retail sector, so I have an office in Noida, I have in Delhi, so my central data center is here. So all those assessment you should do it. Then once you do the assessment, you have to see how you can unify and standardize. Like one application is working on the SQL Server 2008, another application is working on the 2012, and another application is working on 2005. Just a typical example. You need to see how you can standardize all those versions for that specific vendor. So this is one typical scenario. So you do the standardization. Once you do the standardization, now since you have standardized, now you try to all those redundant server or different server you try to consolidate. That is the third step. Once you consolidate, now this is the time for you to virtualize. Because what we have seen, virtualization is, even the VC was talking about the virtualization at that time, he was talking about the hardware and all of that. And what most of the organization, what they do, you have 200 servers, you virtualize because the HP, Dell and so on, they are providing those kind of cabinets or VCE where they provide the V block. You can minimize the number of servers. Yes, number of servers could be done, but this is the right way where you can really leverage the benefit from the practical scenario. So you actually because instead of 200 servers which was physical, now you have virtualized in a one box all those servers. So however you have 50 servers at this time, but actually your license cost is the same, your administration cost is the same. So you should do that one. Once you virtualize, you see how you can automate, how you can integrate. Once we do all of that, this is the time for you to decide whether you want to go to the public cloud or hybrid cloud or to the private cloud. This is one of the typical scenario on the cloud side. So again, you need to, before you actually think, you have to study. You have to study what is available. what are the tags, what are the certification, what are the protocols. Most of the time I see like REST protocol is emerging as one of the a common protocol where you, if you use that REST protocol, you don't need to rebuild the application for the different platforms. Any other question?
Perhaps I'll add
One
one
question.
point to that. This question is concerned mainly is about, suppose I learn some technology. So by the time I complete my course, so maybe that technology becomes outdated, or the employment opportunities may not be there in
Yes.
a particular technology.
Yes.
So am I wasting my time?
Yes, yes.
So learning that
Yes.
technology.
Yes.
So how to
Currently I am reviewing a book on the, yes.
Mainly like big data Hadoop, sir. If you
Yes.
want to learn the Hadoop,
Yes.
so will it be available in the future?
Yes,
Will there be scope? And what are the live projects like now running about the Hadoop?
Yes. Most of the time people they think big data means Hadoop, because that is providing a distributed computational environment, and that is the framework which provides that kind of capability. Of course, because instead of, and even that was the one of the practice what the big data mining consultant they do. Whenever a requirement comes where you need to have a decision making reporting or dashboards, they will try to fetch the data from the raw tables from the down layer, So by the time you fetch those data, of course the latency is one of the constraints where so you need to find out and you need to segregate. If you have studied the data structure, you need to separate the data. What is the data which is not being changed, which is not changing, like the data on the move, data which is on the rest, those kind of things you need to classify the data in those elements. So Hadoop, it will help you to analyze the data in a distributed environment. Let's say you have a company which is multi-geographic location company. So you are analyzing the data for Middle East region as an example. So when you are fetching the data, you don't need to pull all the data all over here to the central platform and analyze and try to aggregate and unify and do the cleansing and send it back. So there is infrastructure which is part of the distributed environment. You fetch the data, you analyze the data and bring the analyzed data into a minimal size, and then you try to